right now on NBC Connecticut.
Powerful storms, including a tornado, tear through Connecticut.
And all of a sudden, it was like this wall of wind hit me. And I couldn't move for a second.
Toppling trees and power lines.
It was like literally a freight train.
Tonight, the cleanup is underway with thousands still in the dark.
This is the worst. This was a huge storm all at once.
We have live team coverage right now.
NBC Connecticut News starts now.
And right now tonight, the rush is on for the cleanup after these strong storms as well as a tornado. Thanks for staying up with us tonight, everybody. I'm Mike Heideck.
And I'm Keisha Grant. More than 43,000 customers are without power right now all across the state. We are told hundreds of crews are working to get the lights back on, and the state has deployed the National Guard to help with the cleanup.
We have live team coverage starting with First Alert meteorologist Caitlin McGrath in Bethany tonight, where that tornado touched down. Caitlin.
Hey there, Mike and Keisha. That's absolutely right. Based on our radar data, a tornado did touch down here in Bethany. And with the damage that we're seeing and the damage that's being reported, that lines up. Scenes like this common across town. Large uprooted trees, big trees snapped in half, covering roads, taking down power lines. We spoke to residents here in Bethany who said the storm this afternoon was like something out of a movie.
I felt like I was in The Wizard of Oz. Like Annie M. It was terrible. Couldn't believe how quickly it came. It was just a wall of wind.
Kathleen Sherman and her husband own Lockett's Meadow Farm, which is home to 140 animals. They were leading the horses to safety when the storm hit.
He was trying to get the horses out of that paddock, and as he was getting them to the gate, a tree came down and landed on the gate.
Just as soon as the Shermans recovered from Tropical Storm Isaias, they're left without power once again and another big cleanup on their hands.
We had just gotten all the fences repaired from the last storm where we went, 6 days without power? All the fences we replaced are covered with trees and they're down again.
But in times like this, a little sense of humor can go a long way.
We're so tired. We're just so tired. And I blame my husband. It's not going to hit us. Boom.
Just down the street, the owners of Bethany Veterinary Hospital also have a big cleanup on their hands. But they're no stranger to tornado damage and faced a similar scene in 2018.
The wind was blowing horizontal and signs were flying actually this way. Lots of noise, sounds of trees, and then within about 10 minutes or so, we looked outside and saw the aftermath.
But during this storm, they had the added challenge of a pandemic. Their veterinary practice is currently offering curbside appointments where pet owners stay in their car and only the animals come into the office. But Kathy Jackson and her husband know when there's a tornado warning, you need to seek proper shelter.
Just kind of to tell them to hurry up and come into the building, so they kind of came in with their dogs and we kind of kept them safe until the storm passed.
And now that the storm has passed, the cleanup continues. The National Weather Service will be out here in Bethany tomorrow surveying the storm to determine the width, length, and intensity of the tornado. Live in Bethany, I'm Caitlin McGrath, NBC Connecticut News. We continue our team coverage with Jamie Ratliff live in North Haven, another hard-hit town. Jamie.
And Caitlin, tonight the First Selectman declared a state of emergency. Now, there has been a lot of work done here on Homewood Avenue that we've seen, but you can see there is still so much left to do. The fire department says more than 55 roads are reported as impassable. One homeowner had just cleaned up damage from Isaias when their storm caused a tree to fall on their home. Another homeowner we spoke to had just put on a brand new roof, and now he has several large holes on that roof from branches crashing down.
We have roads that are blocked, trees that are down, limbs that are down.
The aftermath of a powerful storm slicing through North Haven. Near Homewood Avenue, so many trees fell it was hard to see the road, completely cutting off neighbors. Peter Broadbent says in his 25 years here, it's the worst storm he's seen.
We've probably lost 15, 20 trees that are just sheared. Yep. Yeah, devastating. storm.
Pieces of trees litter the front yard, taking wires with them, and branches pierced through the home, causing significant damage inside.
We have 4 holes in the roof right now. We've taken the bedroom ceiling down in the guest bedroom because water was leaking through. We have a broken rafter. Yep, we got some work to do.
Broadbent's daughter and son were home during the storm, got a tornado warning on the phone, and ran to the basement.
Once we started making our way downstairs, that's when it really started to pick up, and it came out of nowhere. The wind was so heavy that it just blew trees right down, and we were kind of sprinting downstairs to the basement at that time because we knew this wasn't just a normal storm.
North Haven's first selectman Michael Frieda says while there's no estimated time from UI for when power will be restored, tomorrow they'll get some backup. The National Guard will help clear the roads.
My estimation, that process right there, by having the National Guard in, will save us at least 2 days in terms of getting power restored.
With so much damage left behind from the fast-moving storm tonight, Frieda says North Haven made an emergency declaration. And as everyone scrambles to reopen roads, assess damage, and get power back on, homeowners like Broadbent expect it will take time. As neighbors keep an eye on each other and help each other out, they're just glad everyone is okay.
It'll all be fixed and everybody's safe. Thank goodness.
United Illuminating says about 38% of their customers are without power in North Haven. The first selectman says there is a bit of good news here. He has not heard of any injuries or fatalities in North Haven from this storm. We're live in North Haven. Jamie Ratliff, NBC Connecticut News. Mike.
All right, thank you, Jamie. And we also have some incredible, and look at that, terrifying video from North Haven tonight. That's Avery Kelly. She sent this in. Her Nest video cam. This is Tennyson Avenue. Shows the moment that tree comes crashing down, partially hitting a parked car in the driveway there. And Governor Lamont will tour the damage in North Haven tomorrow, as well as Brantford, very hard hit. Crews there have a long night ahead of them. Many of the trees are blocking roads this evening. NBC Connecticut's Matt Austin is checking out the damage tonight. He joins us live from East Main Street. Matt.
Yeah, Mike, check out these trees that were uprooted behind us over here. They took out part of the fence over here and even chunks of the pavement of this parking lot. At this point, authorities are still surveying the damage in this town. There's no reports yet of anyone who was hurt, but there is a lot to clean up. Tonight, a race to repair damage following a powerful storm that whipped through Brantford.
It really started to blow, and it blew really strongly.
Across town, there was widespread damage, including a fiery site on Route 1.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Trees took down lines, knocking out power to almost everyone, and dozens of streets were blocked by downed trees. First Selectman James Cosgrove spoke about what's the top priority.
So right now it's just make safe, get a number of streets open. We have a number of areas throughout town that we haven't actually been able to go in and assess yet because of the significant amount of trees that are down.
Cosgrove says that mission is being helped by local, regional, and state teams, which gathered at the fire department before heading out. Representative Sean Scanlon says Brantford was also hard hit during Tropical Storm Isaias and raised concerns about Eversource's performance then.
That hopefully they learned their lesson from the response last time. They seem to be a little bit better prepared for this storm, and time will tell, obviously. The clock is now ticking.
In a tweet, Eversource wrote they're sending a mobile command center to Brantford, which will help speed up getting power back on. Many are hoping restoration is quicker this time, including for Mark Killian.
It's relatively soon, not a big deal. I hate to go another week.
And the first selectman tells me they believe there are numerous homes with serious damage. And I just checked with Eversource, and there are still 16,000 customers, more than 99% of this town, that is still in the dark. We're live in Brantford. Matt Austin, NBC Connecticut News. Keisha, back to you.
Matt, thank you. People all across Hamden are starting to clean up the mess left behind after a tornado tore through that town. The National Weather Service will be on the ground tomorrow. But tonight, NBC Connecticut's Kyle Jones has a look at what people are seeing.
Hamden hit hard today with roofs being blown off and trees coming down on top of cars, all of it happening within a matter of moments.
It was a tornado, I could tell. I've never been in one, but from what you hear about it.
It was indeed a tornado touching down in Hamden Thursday afternoon, blowing through the center of town.
It's about 5 o'clock and it just came through so fast. It was like literally a freight train. We looked out in the street, we could see the whirl of not only wind but rain in a funnel pattern.
Moments later, it was gone. More than 50 roads through town blocked by trees and wires. On Old Dixwell Avenue, power crews checking down wires, while business owners were in shock that their roof was left on the road.
I've never seen a roof go right onto the sidewalk as we saw outside.
Building owner Anthony Cuccinelli showed NBC Connecticut water pouring into the offices on the 3rd floor, pooling on the floors and leaking to the offices below. This tree splitting in half, crushing the garage right behind this home. We spoke to the homeowner who said he got to the basement just in time.
As soon as I heard the house started shaking and it sounded like a freight train, he said, let's go to the basement.
And this tree coming down on top of this car here in the parking lot, we just talked to neighbors who said that they're going to be out tomorrow helping to clean up messes like this.
We go door to door checking on people to make sure they're all right. We're assessing what kind of help they need with chainsaws when the rain stops. So, you know, tomorrow's my day off. I may as well use it for good.
In Hamden, Kyle Jones, NBC Connecticut News.
All right, so I want to go through what we know about the storm that moved on through. We know that we have at least one tornado that touched down in Hamden and Bethany. It may have continued across the Wilbercross Parkway and I-91 into North Haven. Radar confirmed some lofted tornado debris in the clouds, so we know that there was a tornado that touched down. After the tornado, there was significant straight-line wind damage, probably on the order of about 90 miles per hour in portions of North Haven, North Branford, and Branford. And the peak wind gust we saw was 92 miles per hour. That was measured in North Haven. This is a look at the shear tracks, and so this shows us where the rotation was the strongest. The rotation began to pick up in Bethany, and then it really began to maximize across portions of Hamden and North Haven. So it looks like that's where we had our tornado, and then as the storm moved off to the south and to the east, the tornado began to weaken. It sort of fell apart, but there was a very, very powerful gust of wind that moved through, and that's what produced all the damage in North Branford and Branford. And again, winds may have been close to about 90 miles per hour or even more. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'll take a closer look at the storm town by town as it moved through the New Haven area down toward the shoreline. We'll also take a look at the forecast for the weekend that does include another chance for some storms. It's all coming up with First Alert Weather. Mike and Keisha, back to you.
All right, thanks, Ryan. A downed tree on a transmission line at the United Illuminating substation forced them to shut the power off to several thousand people about an hour ago. And this impacts anyone who lives around North Main Street up to the Seymour Town Line and from East Main Street east to the Woodbridge Town Line. UI says the lights should be back on in about 2 hours.
Check out this time-lapse video from our camera over Waterbury. It captured the moment the storm started rolling through. You can see the clouds cover the city, the rain move in, and then, well, it went pretty dark.